Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. Well, as you no doubt all know, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker finally crawled across the $1 billion line and now is making a little bit of profit. Let's see what the numbers are doing. Up to this day, the 20th of January 2020, it's made $1,026,619,801 gross worldwide, and it only took them 4 weeks to do it. But that isn't the whole story. Odin's done a more detailed analysis of this, which I'm not going to go into, but there's one thing which nobody seems to have bothered to mention, and that's the level of debt that Disney has accumulated with getting Star Wars. So I had a look around and I found this. It's an unofficial Disney News story, and it's about all the acquisitions that Disney has taken on from the time of Bob Iger getting his ass in the CEO's chair, and he's been on a spending spree. The article says for decades Disney kept their operation very close to the vest, while they operated across a number of channels spanning all realms of entertainment. The Disney family steered pretty clear of major acquisitions, opting to grow organically and rely on their abundance of creativity, which as a company should do. A company should grow like a tree, slowly and steadily. Some years you go quick, other years you grow slowly, but if you grow like a tree, you're solid right to the core, and not like a balloon where you'd rapidly have masses of acquisitions and all the supporting it is air. One prick and the balloon bursts and all you're left with is chaos. The article carries on. This independence and reliance came to a screeching halt in the 2000s when Bob Iger got his arse in the CEO's chair, took helm of Disney and began to steer the company in the direction of a number of other media giants. In other words, Bob had big ideas, strategically filling the gaps in their offerings with monstrous Disney acquisitions, and then it lists all the acquisitions that he's acquired. And to say you're totting it all up, it comes to, minus the Lucasfilm one, $108,676,000,000 that he spent in the time that he was there. With the Lucasfilm acquisition, it comes to a total of $112 billion, $336 billion, $112,736 million. Now that's not really what Disney paid for Star Wars. As you can see at the bottom, they also purchased 20th Century Fox for $71.3 billion. So if you add them two together, you're looking at about $75 billion, because Star Wars and 20th Century Fox are synonymous with each other. Also, you have to consider that all that money didn't come out of the Disney coffers. Bob simply borrowed it, and he used the leverage of the company to the tune of $112 billion to pay for it all. There's nothing else about that, and actually I'll put all the links down below, but it goes even further. John Talks did an article about Lucasfilm and the amount of money that they've lost, and these are the two links that he put below in his video. Disney suffered a $2.2 billion loss from Lucasfilm purchase. It explains how. The bottom line is that Disney has up to date suffered a $2.2 billion loss in $112 from its Lucasfilm purchase, certainly not close to recovering its costs as claimed in the media article linked above. That would be that one. Or that one, probably. What is also interesting is what would the movies have had had to have made for Disney to be within striking distance of recovering its costs had The Last Jedi and Solo performed as well as The Force Awakens and Rogue One. Then Disney would still be down $1.37 billion. Still some work to do, but more than possible to break even or better. Well, it's not going to happen. Odin has said that Skywalker has made about $70 million profit, but the movie itself with all the reshoots costs around about $500 to $600 million to make. The financial loss from Solo is well known, but this analysis makes it apparently just how badly The Last Jedi performed. While it was profitable, it made for less than Disney needed in films in its flagship Star Wars trilogy. Even The Force Awakens did just barely enough. Once again, these figures are unlikely to accumulate to be accurate to the last dollar, but it's shown it's unlikely Disney will ever recover the cost of its investment in Lucasfilm. This was written by a guy called Itchy Backer on 5th of January 2020. That's last week. This is another article from John Talk's website. It's all about the finances. I am not going to go through it because I'm not all that versed in company finances, etc. But it said that the profit margin of Rogue One is, the correct figure is $390 million. Well, the profit margin of the last of the saga, Skywalker, was only about $70 million, so it's got $250 million or more to catch up with Rogue One, and it's not going to happen. It might get $20 or $30 million on DVDs, maybe say another 10 on toys, etc., but I think that would be it, and it'll be the lowest grossing Star Wars movie ever, not counting Solo, which was really a hodgepodge, which I've covered, and cover how it should have been like on another video about Star Wars. Anyway, where's the other bit that was interesting? Disney paid $4.5 billion for Lucasfilm in October 2012. Well, they didn't give George Lucas $4.5 billion. They gave him $2 billion, and the rest they gave him in Disney stock. Well, that's really all they could afford, because Disney is up to its ears in debt. Where's the other video? Where is it now? Where is it? Yes. You can click on the graph below. Here's a cut. Shows that in June 2019, Disney had $58.2 billion of debt, an increase of $23.7 billion over 1 year. Well, that's from Bob Iger going on a spending spree. However, because it had cash reserve of $6.73 billion, its net debt is less at about $51.5 billion. But still, $51.5 billion of debt hanging on your neck isn't going to be healthy for a company. This shows a graph, shows the value of the company, and this shows the level of debt of the company. Again, this is all about finances. I'm not going to go through it. According to the latest balance sheet, Walt Disney had liabilities of $44.6 billion due to within 12 months and liabilities of $59.6 due beyond 12 months. Offsetting these obligations, he had a cash of $6.73 billion as well as receivables valued at $15.7 billion due within 12 months. So it has liabilities totaling $81.8 billion, more than its cash and near-term received combined. As I said, Disney is up to its ears in debt. Where it says the deficit isn't so bad because Walt Disney is worth a massive $249.5 billion, say $250 or $250 billion. But if Disney's movies keep losing money and the two Galaxy's Edge theme parks in America, which each cost $1 billion to make, are not generating income, well, that will soon be chewing into the money, and Disney will be bleeding cash like mad, and that value of $250 billion will go down because the stock price will go down as the investors will start getting nervous. But anyway, this goes into the debt and equity and all this, that and the other, which I'm not going to go into. Walt Disney recorded free cash flow was 53% of its EBIT, which is around normal. Given free cash flow excludes interest and tax, this free cash flow puts the company in a good position to pay down debt when appropriate. Well, that depends on the Disney's customers, the audience. If we all vote with our wallet, then that's not going to happen. In light of our reservations about a company's balance sheet, it seems sensible to check if insiders have been selling shares recently. Let's click on that link, see what that says. As you can see, insider trading, the guys have been selling shares. I don't know about that. Those of you who are into finances, you can understand this more than me. Anyway, back to the poster. Skywalker has just crossed over the line. It's making a little bit of money, but it's the poorest showing one of them all. But the more appropriate poster should be this. We have the power to bring down Disney and teach them a lesson that you can't insult your customers, you can't insult your fan base and the audience for your movies, and it's up to us whether we will save the company or not. We might be small in number, but we're still growing, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie has been cancelled. Nobody says why. The Mandalorian might be making a second season, but as it is, Disney is in serious trouble, even though the finances say not, because they're up to their ears in debt. And I've also heard Bob Iger has got his eye on running for President of America in 2024. Vote for Bob. That has a nice ring to it. The man who was too scared to fire a woman who was incompetent, because Bob needs female votes to get his feet under the Oval Office desk in the White House. If I was an American, I wouldn't vote for him. I'd rather vote for Kanye West. At least you know where he stands. Anyway, that's it for this one. I know it's a bit long, but I had quite a bit to cover, and I didn't want to bore you all. Right, you know the routine, people. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. So until the next one, which it'll probably be the Spectre solo to give my interpretation of how it should have been made. That's it. Bye-bye.